Good afternoon, everybody. Well, from who knows what time it is where you are. Hey, I'm going to go post our link on the website, and the website is jollyrogerukulele.com. We got an arrangement of angels we have heard on high today, and then we also have a Bach, quote unquote, minuet suite today. Probably be a kind of a quick class today. We're going to see if we can't knock it out, and we'll see. And sometimes I talk too much. If you've clicked on any of my videos ever, you already know that. All right, let's see if that works. Clink. And sure enough, goes to where it's supposed to. So then let's go tweet. Twitter. Close that. Twitter. Oh, brother. https:// Jolly Roger ukulele.com pops up, and there I am, and then I tweet. So here's something that I wonder how, like when you're at Twitter and you're the boss of Twitter, and somebody comes in and says, hey, we want to start advertising on Twitter, and you say, okay, it's going to cost you $80 billion. What are you advertising? And they say, well, on the top of everybody's stream in Twitter, I want the first block to be a real tweet from somebody they follow. And the next block, I want it to be a ridiculous advertisement with women with either their legs showing or huge breasts or long hair or something, so that men will click on it. And I'm continuously amazed when I go to Twitter to tweet our little events. Or the very first thing that pops up is this picture, and you're like, oh, brother. And you just go, yeah, you're like, what are you guys at Twitter doing? I am not clicking on that stuff. All right, let's see. Let's see. I love it. So in harmonica class, I'm making them do some music theory, which is to take a song they don't know and write out the tablature for it. And John, who is a very excellent harmonica player, just sent me his version. He says, "Am I close?" I love that. Does this kind of sound like what it's supposed to? Awesome. Let's see. Nancy, welcome in. Sounding good. Lynn in today. Cloudy again out there in New Jersey. Is it normally cloudy in the winter? Lynn, I picture New Jersey kind of being cold, but not necessarily cloudy and rainy and crummy. Melissa's back. Melissa owes me a whole day's worth of classes, so she's got to be on her game today. She skipped yesterday. We should start having punishment for skippers, huh? If you skip, you have to write out your own tablature for a song. Let's see. Here to hear the angels. Yeah, it's a pretty song. It will be. It should end up sounding nice coming out of yours. No, not this cloudy. Okay, all right. Yeah, I don't know. I spent one semester at a school in upstate New York, January through May, and that January, like I'm from Colorado, so we think we know what cold weather is. That was a level of cold I can't even begin to describe. It was freezing up there. And then when spring comes, it's like when spring finally comes, I should say, it lasts about 15 minutes, and then it's so hot you can't stand it. So definitely upstate New York is on my list of places that I am. I'm glad that I got to find out how good the weather in Colorado is. It was brutal. Let's see. Melissa says, all right, or I never know. I like to add my own emotional take onto Melissa's sound. Lynn, we are turning into Seattle. I know, isn't it funny? All over the country, people are saying, the weather definitely is different than when I grew up, and I do think that's a sign that all this carbon dioxide we're pumping into the air cannot possibly be creating a positive effect. All right. JollyRogerUkulele.com. Today, guys, where did I put my sheet music? It's going to be, I don't have everything memorized, it turns out. We're going to be playing Angels We Have Heard on High. And so let's get that up. I spent a long time in baritone class today for reasons other than what we're going to talk about here today. Today, we're going to really just talk about making it pretty, and then I want to play the Bach piece, and then I want to have you go off and be prepared to tackle your angels we have heard on high, to tackle your Christmas season. So we won't spend that long on this. Not a super complicated song for those of you guys who've been around a while. And so there is one kind of fun thing about it is when you get to the glory is you really are hammering your way through this thing. So let's run through the chords, melody, tough uke and all that. First off, your first chord's a G chord. Let's get rid of this. Let's grab a G chord, index finger, middle finger, ring finger. Angels we have, and then this is fast, right? 2 beats for the D, and then right back to the G. So when I go from D to G or G to D, I'm usually thinking, gonna get my index finger planted, and then these 2 fingers planted. Heard on, and then I'm gonna drop right straight back down to my G chord. Usually with that, in that situation, my middle finger's taking the lead roll. Gonna jump down, grab your index finger, grab your ring finger. High, sweetly singing o'er the plain, and the mountains in reply, echoing their joyous strain. Okay, so it's just a lot of that going on. Both of those chords are from day 1, day 2, day 3 type chords, but on a song like this, you got to get there and be ready to go. It'd be nice if you can get both beats in for the D, dun 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 dun. And so working on that transition, D chord and G chord are coming up every single day you play ukulele. So not a bad idea to work on those. Importantly, for those of you who are singers, G chord and D chord are best friends, right? G, A, B, C, D. Okay, so if you don't like the key, if you're singing it and you don't like the key, just change it out to other best friends. So if you played it in C, his best friend's G. Angels we have heard on high. Or you could play, what's another good ukulele chord? Oh, how about F? F and C. Angels we have heard on high, sweetly singing o'er the plain. So obviously you don't want to hear me singing in any key, but the kind of the takeaway there is that at least for the first half of this song, you can transpose it into other keys rather readily just by using your 1-5 system. When you're looking at measures 9 to the end, those chords, except for the E7, they also make sense in the key. And the E7 is just instead of it should be an E minor if it was following the rules of the key. Because you've got G, you would have an A minor, which shows up down there, a B, which does not show up in this song. I'm sorry, I did that wrong. G, A, B, you've got a C chord that shows up down there, and then D shows up, right? So those chords are all showing up in addition to this crazy E7, which is sitting over here. Normally it's an E minor, but they're changing out the minor for a 7th chord to create a little bit more drama. So let's run through measures 9 through the end of the song. Got a G chord, oh, and then you're going to go to E7, oh, and then A minor, oh, and then to the D chord, oh, G chord, oh, and then the C chord, oh, D chord, Gloria. And then you can't fall asleep there. That page turn happens at a rather unpleasant spot. You've got to then do G, D, G, C, G, re, D. Okay, so you've got 5 chords in 5 beats that you got to be on top of. And again, as we've talked about on other days, if you can't get them all, beats 1, 3, and are the important ones, and they're both G chords. In excelsis Deo. Okay, so beats 1 and 3 are the important ones. But if you can't, obviously it's going to sound better if you get them all. In excelsis Deo. Okay, second time you come through, you'll skip measure 14. You're going to grab a D7 instead of a D. And you'll sound a little bit more tension in a 7th chord, and so it creates a little bit better drama as you are flipping through there. Let's see. Linda made it in. I'm not telling you the weather. I have decided not to tell you the weather in Maui because the weather is exactly the same every day, which is it's perfect every single day. Linda, if it's ever not perfect in Maui, we'd like to know about that. We'd like to know you're suffering. That's what we want. Q's in the house. Valerie, hello, Valerie. Valerie's been running late to every class today. I think she's sneaking out behind the bleachers to smoke. Okay. Linda's already got me figured out. He's like, whatever, Gary. He's going to pick on me because I live in Hawaii. All right. So get your chords in there. Let's do a couple of runs throughs just singing it. You guys know I can't sing, but you can at least, you probably can sing better than I can. And so it's a great opportunity. Let's just, when it's a nice song like this that's in the key and all of these chords are going to show up in your life, good chance just to practice those. Let's do first time through, let's do it with thumb. Second time through with plucking like that. And if you're a little bit more advanced player or you've been working on your arpeggios, this song really does work with this. Let me show you. Angels we have heard on high, sweetly singing for the plain, and the mountains in reply, echoing their joyous strain. Right, so that makes it sound prettier, makes it sound fancier, and all I'm doing is thumb, index, middle, index, and I'm using the third string as my root. It's not necessarily the root of every chord, but it's where my anchor is, I guess I should say. Thumb, index, middle, index, and then I'm just doing those on every eighth note. Angels we have heard on high. Right? And so that's one way to make your playing sound prettier. If you're a singer, you're using arpeggio picking patterns rather than strumming patterns, has a tendency to make you sound like a much more sophisticated ukulele player. Okay, let's just, first time through, let's strum, second time through, and it's not really the second time through, it's we go down to the bottom, and then at measure 14, you go back to 9. And so from 9, let's go to the plucking sound. From the top, 1, 2, 3, 4. Angels we have heard on high, gently singing o'er the field, and the mountains in reply, echoing their joyous strain. In excelsis Deo, and then pluck. In excelsis Deo. Okay, so again, not a great job on either of those versions, mostly because this is just not a song I sing. None of the songs, I don't sing any songs. When you hear me singing, you know bad things are happening. But when the real takeaway here is, hey, sometimes this is going to sound good, sometimes this is going to sound good, sometimes that's going to sound good. And you want to try a song with all of those different ways until you find your favorite way of doing it. And that's for you singers, right? For those of us who aren't singers, we're not going to do any of that. All right, let's run through the melody. This is what we do, right? This is when you can't sing. You have to let the ukulele do the singing for you. Or when you aren't going to sing. It's not that you can't. Everybody can sing. Nobody can sing well, right? No, that's not true. Lots of people can sing well. From the top, I'm going directly into second position because I don't see any ones anywhere. So I'm always thinking, all right, there's no one, so I'm going to play in second position. That puts my pinky on 5. And then when I get down to measure 9, I see a 7 show up there. So I'm probably going to drop down to 5th position and play those 7s with my ring finger. Okay, let's play from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me get the right note here. You ever held down exactly the right note and then played the wrong string? Have you ever done that? I just did. From the top, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. I did a terrible job on that. I'd like to play it one more time from the top, just exactly what we played, but play it better, Gary. From the top, 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice. Okay, there's your melody. Makes sense. The whole thing works. Let's put them together. One of the things to notice when you see the whole melody fitting onto the first string, and it's not going way high, it goes to 7. That's not too bad. You're going to notice we can put a whole lot of the chord underneath it. And if you look through the chord melody, the tough uke line, almost every single chord has a full strum on it, right? And so you can end up with quite a lot of chords coming in underneath there. That's why there are places where I could have put a chord under. Look at measure 1. I've got 3 G's. And then I put the 5 by itself. I could also put a chord underneath that one, the same G chord underneath there. We do that chord all the time. The reason I don't do that, it's you want to let the chord kind of die out once in a while. Otherwise, it's a lot. If you play it with all chords, it'd be angels be. That's a whole lot of chording, and for sometimes that might sound good. I think for this song, letting those chords kind of die out and quiet down a little bit before you make a chord change can help. So to wit, you would have, while I'm playing that 5, the rest of the strings are dying off, and that gives me an opportunity to switch to my bar chord. Okay, so it gives you a chance to let those chords finish ringing out before you have to pull your hand up to do the next thing. If you're if you're trying to do that, you know how a lot of ukulele players will play strums, like go crazy with this. On some songs it works, and it would sound like. Messed it up a bunch, but you can see the point is if this was one of those driving songs where you wanted to do that, that's a fun way to do it. Just make sure you've got as much melody on the top string as possible, and then you can get away with that. I think generally speaking, when I see that going on, I'm thinking, I don't know if that's the way I want to play ukulele or not. It's a different way. It's kind of fun for a song. So let's go through the tough uke, make sure we got everything figured out. G chord to start off with. Pinky on 5. Hold that pinky and change this out to a bar. Slide that down to your middle finger to get the 3. And then back to a G chord. Okay, measure 3 in G chord. Middle finger up to get the 0. Back down to get the G chord. Pinky on 5. Nice up and down bar on 2. Open. And then a little G chord. 3 more G chords. Pinky on 5. Bar on 2. Middle finger 3. And a G chord. Okay, and then keep going. Middle finger up. Back down. Pinky on 5. Bar on 2. Open. And G chord. Okay, so it's really 4 measures and then 4 measures of more of the same. Valerie says, I'm late again. No good. I'm having a no good, terrible, very bad day. Valerie, big ukulele hug to you. She's been late to every class. It's okay, Valerie. It is okay. I think it sort of sets a trend, right? Like, hey, I'm the guy who shows up late to the party, where you're fashionably late. Let's not call that a terrible bad day. Let's call it a glamorously fabulous day. All right, that's how we'll do that. Then there, day's fixed. Measure 9. G chord with your pinky. Here's what's exciting. Slide that up to 7, add your bar on 4. Change it out to a 5. Drop down to a 3. 2. A minor with your 3. Bar on 2. Pinky on 5. 3, 2. You don't have to move your bar at all for that part. Open. G chord. C chord. 203. D chord. Couple of those low 2s. Here's where things get pretty intense. G chord, partial 3 strings. D chord, full. G chord, full. C chord, full. G chord, full. Let it ring. D chord. Okay, and then we're going to go right back up to measure 9 and play that whole section again. For measure 9, let's do it. Go. Next page. Jump to 15, G chord. Then a D7, just move that up to the higher notes, higher strings. And then go grab your 3 and G chord. 2, 3, 2, bar on 7, pinky on 10. Okay, should come right out of your ukulele. That's the hope, Vic. Music with friends. That's what will always help, right? Here's what I know. No matter how bad your day's going, grab a tough uke. Just grab a tough uke and play it. And all of a sudden, all those problems, you can't keep them in your head because you got to be focused. All right. Valerie, this is for you. This is Angels We Have Heard on High, sending you the message that, hey, we hope your day is going to get better. From the top, as written, go all the way down to the bottom, come back to measure 9, and go back down to the bottom again, skipping that one measure there. Is it one measure or 2? Skipping the one measure, measure 14. Okay, from the top, not fast. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Let's see. Um, all right. I'm feeling all sad for Valerie right now. Oh, come on. Let's not have bad days, guys. It's not helpful, right? Not helpful. When things are rough right now, and so this is where we come to be safe for 45 minutes, right? And so let's do that. All right. So now we played it, but I played the whole thing with my thumb just now, which sounds beautiful, right? But let's go make sure that we get that next level attitude when it comes to playing your chords. Is hey, sometimes a claw positioning is. Sometimes a claw position is the way to go. And so let's try it with claw and see how that affects it. Linda says there's no bad days in Hawaii. Yeah, just come to Hawaii. Everything's fine. Okay. Yeah. Yep. I agree. If you could live in a pickup truck in Hawaii, that would be the ideal, right? Okay. From the top, try your claw this time. Quite a bit harder when you're newer to do this, but also very rewarding because long term you want to be able to do both the thumb playing and the claw playing. All right, from the top. Come on, guys, focus. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoops, sorry. Where am I at? Pretty that way too. This is the other thing when you're thinking about something like that on the end. Practice rolling your fingers, thumb, index, middle, ring. I taught a guitarist one time for a little while, and she had taken a ton of classical lessons, and so her roll was really effective. Okay? Because rather than doing the glissando like we do, they do it like that. And it takes a little bit more skill to do that way. Kind of a fun thing to practice or mess around and try. All right, we're going to shut it down early a little bit today. I want to play the Minuet Suite, and then I'm going to turn you loose. Tomorrow we will be grabbing what's it called? The other angel song, Angels from the Realms of Glory. And then we'll have one more shot at Minuet Suite. And then on Friday, Hark the Herald, Deck the Halls, Angels that we have heard on high, Angels from the Realms of Glory, and Minuet Suite. All of that is going to keep us busy for the rest of the week. Remember, on the 1 o'clock class list, I'm adding in all of the Christmas music that you guys do and they do. So there's up to 22 tunes now. And of course, if you're a website member and you didn't come to the Monday night members class, you should go over to the members page. There's more Christmas music on there as well. Some of the more modern, much more difficult pieces to play. Yeah. So. Melissa's doing some travel planning while we're working on this, and Linda's going to be like, "No, you guys cannot keep coming to my house. I can't. I'm getting eaten out of house and home with all these ukulele players showing up on my doorstep." Minuet solo complete. Now I played this too fast earlier for the baritone players. They were mad at me, so I'm going to play quite a bit slower. And again, with Bach's Minuet Suite, we're going to be honest about where we're at with our overall skill set. If playing tough uke is going pretty well for you, absolutely play that. But if that's too much, and this is a big piece, playing melody makes a whole lot of sense, right? And so find your best way. On Friday we will be playing this again, and I want to make sure that you're not not making yourself sad playing it because of the trying to play tough uke. If you just play melody, you're going to have a really beautiful piece here as well. So let's see. field trip to Hawaii. Right? Remember field trips? I don't know if they still do them very much, but man, that was a big deal when we were in elementary school. We went on a field trip to Santa Fe from Denver one time. I can't believe those teachers did that. Yeah, we got to Santa Fe. It really is a remarkable city, and we went down there. We went to the magic staircase, and I don't remember anything else that we did other than we went to the magic staircase. And yeah. So it's amazing that teachers are willing to do that with their classes. Let's see. Linda's in for the Bach. I'm just here for the Bach. Lynn, the member site hates me. I know, Lynn, I got another email from you about that. There's no possible way that only you can be affected by this at this point. So I'm not sure what our next steps are, Lynn. I'm going to take a look at that again today, but it appears to only be affecting you. And so we got to do some problem solving around that, Lynn, and make sure that whatever is going on there, we get it to we fix it. And so I'll try to do a little bit of problem solving around that today, Lynn. Sorry that that's happening. The G with the pinky on 5 is a killer on baritone. Yeah, that's a long enough stretch on a tenor. On baritone, it's even further. And so when you're thinking about, I could play this on baritone or I can play this on ukulele, maybe you're thinking, I'm not going to worry about it on baritone. I'm going to play it on ukulele. Maybe. All right, let's see. Boy, the bots have been out of control today. Let me get rid of that. Let's see. Lynn, maybe. Possibly. Yeah, possibly. That we might have to look into that. That makes some sense, Lynn. Linda. Yeah, in the beginning, we had a lot of people with the famous 503 error, and I figured out how to make adjustments to that. But Lynn has continued to run into some challenges with it, where nobody else seems to be running into challenges. So I just got to look at, hey, how is it that she's creating that 503 error? And is that a site problem? Is that a Lynn problem? It's probably not a Lynn problem. Or do we need to make some adjustments? And I do think possibly just reconfiguring your membership altogether. But it's about how many times you log in from a particular IP address, and we don't have anybody, as far as I'm aware, in New Jersey other than Lynn logging in from that neighborhood. So it shouldn't, unless there's a bad guy trying to sneak in and steal all of our Jolly Roger material and sell it in Austria. I don't know. Who knows? All right. Box minuet in G. I'm going to try to play slow. I'm going to play the whole thing with my thumb. Remember, we're not going to do any repeats. We just go all the way through. So get to the bottom of the page, go on to the next page. Nice and slow. I'm going to really slow down from what I did on baritone today. I felt bad about that. All right. We blame everything on Verizon. Let me just tell you, the other day, Verizon all over the stuff. Huge sale on iPhone, blah, 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 blah. So Donna's like, well, my iPhone's from, 20 years ago. Let's get a new iPhone. We go in there, and of course, because we're existing customers, none of it applies. None of it. So we got all these cool things you could do, but not for customers. And you always think, shouldn't it be the opposite of that? But it's not. So, all right, focus. We'll worry about Verizon later. 1, 2, 3. Next page. Next page. Next page. Next page. Minuet Suite. We're going to continue hanging on to this piece for a while. I have an ulterior motive, and so no matter how you're playing that, let's just keep that on your thought list. It's definitely a very nice piece of music. Every single thing about it works really well on ukulele. There's only a couple of moments when you're like, what? But for the most part, the whole thing actually comes out of the ukulele pretty well. And so if you're struggling with that one, you should be. It's a pretty tough piece of music. It's way harder than some of the other stuff. And if you're at least getting through it, you should pat yourself on the back, because that's a whole lot. I shine in some measures and completely blow it in others. Yeah, me too. Me too. Hopefully I'm getting more measures shine and less measures blowing it. But in any event, let's keep on this piece for any number of reasons, but among those, my secret plan to dominate the world. And the way we do that is with music that people think is like, oh, well, oh, that's very important music. Oh, look at that coming off of a ukulele. My goodness, I had no idea. I've been listening to that for years. I had no idea you could play that on ukulele. All right, so there's that. Guys, have a wonderful day. Thanks for being here always. Valerie, we're rooting for you today. We want the rest of the day to go just smooth like butter. And let's get our travel plan set up to go to visit Linda. And Melissa, you're in charge of travel planning. Linda. Let's see what else. I got too many Lindas here today. Not just the exact right number of Lindas, right? Lynn, good to see you. Melissa, Evelyn, thanks for being here. See some of you in the next hour. Next hour, we're just playing Christmas music. And Vic, good to see you. As always, Nancy, you bet. Good to see you. All right, guys. Go forth and ukuleleify the earth. And I will see all of you either in the next hour or I'll see you tomorrow.